Hey, welcome to Madhouse Magazine Radio Hour. Today we are spotlighting Tina Turner. That's right. We're going to talk about Ike as well, but we're not going to spotlight him because he's a bad man. He's a very bad man.
Very bad.
So I have this Tina Turner album here. How I have this album, I don't know, because I definitely never bought this album, but I'm glad I have it.
I think it's mine.
That's definitely not yours. Cha-Cha has one album, and it was ruined in the flood. And we know what album that was. Prince, Purple Rain. So, we got a lot to talk about. It's a very interesting life she led here. Lots of stuff going on, lots of insanity. All these rock stars have crazy lives. You notice that?
I did. Well, yes.
You have to have a crazy life to be talented. And
yeah.
I just heard someone saying that before, that Richard Pryor's son did a comedy stand-up routine at the open mic at the Apollo. And they booed him off the stage.
Booed him. Could you imagine?
Exactly. So that shows that...
it's not genetic.
Yeah. And
it's environmental.
Right. And that someone said that he grew up too well off, that he didn't have the struggle. Comedians and rock stars all have to have a struggle in order to create such genius.
It's true.
That's why I'm so funny. Because
yeah.
I had a turbulent life.
Yeah.
So so I know what I want to talk about. The long distance dedication. It's like a soap opera going on. So I want to talk about Charles Manson first.
Why? You're obsessed.
Right. Even in his death, you think that's it. You never hear about him again. But now there's fights going on about claiming his body. His body is still chilling at the L.A. morgue there on ice.
Who wants him?
There's three different people. He's got a son and a grandson and his pen pal. I don't know how.
Why did they want him? Did he leave money to bury himself?
Well, I would imagine that there's money to be made off of him somehow if you get the rights to him, and I don't know, even if you get like some sort of his...
He was a criminal.
Right, but of course you can make money. He was infamous, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know how you could, but I'm sure there's some way you can. And that's what they're thinking. Otherwise, they don't care. You know, everything's about money.
Right. I would think that all the money made would go to the families of the victims.
No. Not. That's why he couldn't make any money. But I think in death, that's a whole nother story.
I don't know.
So anyway, yeah, they're all fighting over it. And the what do they call that guy who's in charge of the morgue? He's not the undertaker. He works for the state and the county.
Oh, the coroner.
Coroner, that's it. He's like, I need this refrigerator. I need to make room. So like, can we cremate him now? And then you guys argue over the ashes? Because I need this it's valuable real estate here.
God.
He's taking up space.
He's been dead for
since November.
Oh, my God.
So they're like, keep him on ice for 3 months now, whatever it is.
That is so gross.
Yeah, or at least they should make money. They should, open it up for the public to come visit him and stuff. Take pictures with him.
Like King Tut's tomb?
Exactly. I would so lay down and take a picture in the refrigerator. Or really crazy people, you know what you could do? Charge them like $1,000 and then close them into the container with Manson for the night. You can spend the night there in the...
You're nuts.
So anyway, the next topic here, next saga in the soap opera is Tommy Lee. He's back in the news again. And he got beaten up by his own son. And it all started because Pamela Anderson, his ex-wife, she went on some talk show and was bad-mouthing Tommy Lee, saying he was an abuser and all of this stuff, which he was, according to her, and I think from arrest reports, too. And then... Yeah, so then he tweeted out, "Oh, you're a jerk. Don't you have anything better to talk about? Why are you always bad-mouthing me?" Something like that. And then he started dissing her on social media, and the son was upset about it because it's obviously that's his mother.
Right.
And he said, "Take it down," and he refused. And then the kid burst into the room and punched Tommy Lee right in the face.
Yeah. And, that's good.
Yeah, I hear the fiance thought he was dead, and they had to call the ambulance, and he had a concussion.
Wow.
So it's serious business.
My son would do that.
No, he wouldn't.
Yes, he would.
So see, but this is what happens when you lead
you
your life.
Do that.
Lead your life like morons.
Right.
It's always drama for the rest of your life. So
you're a moron.
Another lesson in life. Behave yourself. 3 rules of life. You know what they are? 1, behave yourself. It's actually only 2. Let me change that. 1, behave yourself. 2, shut the F up.
Right.
And then you'll have no problems in your life ever. And you won't cause no one else any problems.
Mine is mind your business.
Exactly. There you go. And that's the same thing
That's
as
my motto. Mind your
STFU.
business.
STFU is the same basically as MYOB. So there you have it. So anyway, let's now play some songs now, and then we're going to get into the Ike and Tina Turner story, or saga,
The
as you
Tina
may say.
Turner story.
Featuring Ike. All right, so yeah, let's play some songs back in the day from Ike and Tina Turner. Actually, we're going to start off with It's Gonna Work Out Fine by Ike and Tina Turner, and then we're going to play Rocket 88 also. And
I
we'll
feel
be right
myself
back.
getting fired up.
There you go. Hey, welcome back. Madhouse Magazine Radio Hour 474 The Mix. And we're in the middle of a snowstorm here, by the way. It's a blizzard, a robo-cyclone, a gorilla monsoon, whatever you want to call it. And that's why I'm wearing my sweatshirt. It's freezing cold.
I'm wearing my
and
sweater.
we're still sequestered. No one else is allowed. The flu season's almost over, so we're going to let some people in next week.
Yeah, it's almost about 3 inches out there.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but for the people who are in the thick of it, I feel
there's
really
a blizzard
bad.
around here somewhere, but spring's
but
coming
not
soon.
here. Yeah.
March is the worst month. It lulls you into it lulls you into something.
Yeah. Well, it comes in like a lion and goes out
but
like a
it started
lamb.
like a lamb at 75, and then we get a blizzard.
I think that was the end of January.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean February.
So we just played It's Gonna Work Out Fine, and then Rocket 88. That some people consider that may be the first rock song of all time, Rocket 88 by Ike Turner. This was even before Tina. So he recorded that.
I know that
yeah,
song.
You did. We saw that on that show with Elvis and Carl Perkins.
Yes.
He was in that.
Sun Records?
Sun Records,
yeah.
yes. And he was heavily in that. Remember that? He was
Yeah.
all fancy, duded up and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah, so anyway, he had his own career first. And then, did I mention it was 474 The Mix as well?
Yes.
All right, I mentioned that. And the songs, yes. All right, so yes, he had his own career going, right? But now we're going to talk about Tina, and then we'll discuss how she ends up meeting him. So she was actually, let's have an overview of her life, and then we'll get back. Her combined album and single sales total approximately 200 million copies worldwide.
Wow.
She is noted for her energetic stage presence, powerful vocals, and career longevity. And according to Guinness World Records, Turner has sold more concert tickets than any other solo performer in history.
Wow.
That's more than Madonna, more than
Thank God.
Katy Perry, more than Miley Cyrus, more than any of them.
Wow. Wow.
So, yeah. So anyway, let's get back to her life now. You think I'm going to be making this name up, but I did not. Her real name is Anna Mae Bullock.
Yep.
November 26, 1939, born in Nutbush, Tennessee.
Yeah.
How dirty does that town sound? I'm born in Nutbush. So, and she was actually born on a farm, the Poindexter Farm on Highway 180. Her father worked there as an overseer of the sharecroppers.
Wow.
So, she had a very turbulent child, just like we all have. And her mother left when she was very young, like 10 or whatever.
Wow.
And, isn't that the most shocking when the mother leaves? Because her mother and father had a turbulent relationship, and they were always fighting.
Oh.
So she was shuffled around. She had a sister. They were shuffled around between aunts, grandparents, and some of the other sharecroppers. But her refuge was always church, of course. That's why she learned to sing in the church and the gospel choir and all of this stuff. So eventually when her grandmother died, her mother came to the funeral and took her back to St. Louis with her. And she was reunited with her sister. And that's when she started going out on the town, painting the town, because St. Louis had a big nightlife going on there, the blues and R&B and all this stuff. So she was at this club, and that's where she saw Ike Turner with his band, the Rhythm Kings, up on stage performing, and he would often pass the mic around to girls and have like sort of an open mic. And then one night she got up and sang on the stage, and he was blown away because she was awesome. So he was so smitten that he asked her to join the group the next night. And she did. And that was the biggest mistake. Well, some could say the biggest. Some could say, when we get to this story, we'll vote at the end to see if it was a mistake or a good thing for her. Because if she didn't, she could still be in Nutbush, Tennessee, picking cotton or whatever they did. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, he changed her name first to Little Ann. And
really?
Yeah. And then he said, Tina Turner is going to be your name. And that she actually hooked up with the saxophone player in the band first, and she ended up getting pregnant by him at age 18.
Oh.
Right? That obviously didn't work out too well. So he ended up moving in with her son into Ike's house. Ike was there with his wife, girlfriend, whatever she was. It's not really clear at the time. But anyway, he was there with this woman and his 2 kids, and then she moved in with her kid.
Oh.
So there was 3 of them at this time. So can you imagine what happened at this time? Obviously, one thing led to the other, and they ended up hooking up. And the woman that he was living with left and said, "Here, you take the 2 kids. I'm out of here."
Yeah.
So now she ended up getting pregnant by Ike.
Okay.
And so there she is with 4 kids now with Ike Turner.
Oh,
so,
God.
But at this time,
I can't think of anything worse.
Yeah, she has 1 of her own kid and 3 kids. Oh no, well, the other one was her kid as well. So she had 2 of her own.
He had 2.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the the Nut Bush version of the Brady Bunch, right?
Yeah. That's it. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So anyway, this time they're very successful at this time, though, that they're having songs, very hit songs like "Fool in Love" went to number 2. We're gonna work this out fine in the top 20, and they went touring constantly for this time. It was like 90 days straight in a row they would tour the Chitlin circuit, if you will. And, so it paid off. All this touring, they became the biggest touring band in the world. Everybody said, "Oh, you got to check out the Ike and Tina Turner band." They rivaled James Brown.
Yeah.
And, they didn't have that many hit songs during this period, but based on their touring alone, everybody wanted to see them. And, they had such a great show. It was the Ike and Tina Turner Review, it was called. So, 1965, Phil Spector caught their act. And he said, "Oh, I got to record with Tina." And Ike said, "Oh, that's great. You want to record with Ike and Tina Turner Review?" And he goes, "No, I want to record just with Tina."
Ooh,
and Ike was not happy about that. But Phil Spector paid him off to stay out of the studio. He said, "Just let me do my thing. You stay away." And it worked out great because they did the song River Deep Mountain High, which is a classic song now. But at the time, Phil had such high hopes for it, and Tina had such high hopes, and it went to number 2 in Europe, especially the UK, but it was only number 88 in the US. And
why?
Phil, it just, didn't catch on. I can't say why, but she always actually did better in Europe. We'll get to that.
Okay.
In a little while.
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, right. Anyone can do better in Europe for some reason.
What is that?
Don't they have any standards over there?
Apparently not.
Anything works there.
Yeah.
So, So then right after that, they kept touring, and they had this review. They went on tour in Las Vegas, where they were the hit of the town, and everyone came see them in the late 60s. It was like star-studded. Janis Joplin loved her.
I was
going to
say, you don't give her enough credit.
Who?
Janis Joplin.
What do you mean I don't give her enough credit?
Well,
for what?
Because Tina Turner will always credit Janis Joplin
she loved Janis
catapulting her career.
What did Janis Joplin do for her? I don't know.
She went on the Dick Cavett show.
Oh, really?
Yes, and he said, "Who do you like to listen to?" And she said, "You got to check out these cats, Ike and Tina Turner."
Oh, really? I didn't see any of that part.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you don't know that.
No, I didn't see nothing about it.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. That back right after she recorded River Deep Mountain High, the Stones loved her too.
Yeah,
so they took her on tour. They opened up for the 66 tour with the Rolling Stones. So now flash forward again to late 60s, and everyone is coming to see him in Vegas. Elton John, David Bowie, Elvis Presley was a big fan, came to see him too. So it was awesome. So the Stones once again come back in the picture and said, "We want you to come on our 1969 tour with us too." And you know what happened in 1969 during their tour? Gimme Shelter.
Ooh.
The Altamont incident.
Yeah.
So Ike and Tina Turner were there during Altamont.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
That kind of looks like Ike, that guy that was in the crowd, if you think about it. Yeah. So it was during this time. Tina loved rock and roll at this time, but Ike was more into the rhythm and blues stuff still, and he wanted to keep playing the same stuff, and Tina talked him into recording some rock and roll. And then they did songs like Come Together from the Beatles. Uh-oh. Cha-Cha's phone is ringing. It's the school.
Yeah.
We'll have to take a... Are you going to answer it?
No,
or?
Of course not.
Okay.
Sorry.
My whole dead dog dedication. Once again, I'm thrown off. Cha-Cha's mother's calling in. That was Tina Turner on the line right there, I think. Janice had nothing to do with my success, she said. So, anyway.
It's 1 pot milk, 1 pot butter, Ma.
I'm just totally thrown off.
Sorry.
So, all right. So, yeah. So, she talked to Ike into doing rock songs. They did Come Together by the Beatles. They did Honky Tonk Women by the Rolling Stones, which is a great version, too. And, of course... You know what song they recorded? By Creedence Clearwater Revival. What song?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Rolling on the river.
Yeah,
so that's one of the greatest cover versions of a song of all time. Yeah. It's up there with Joe Cocker's versions. Yes. So that went to number 4 on the list. Not on the list, but on the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
And so that was a huge thing for them. And, of course, their last hit single went to number 22. It was Nutbush City Limits, which was written by Tina Turner as well. So, you know, so now we have to get to the part of the show that Cha-Cha doesn't like, but it was actually a fact of life, and it did happen. So,
well, it's a fact of her life.
Yeah, and that Ike was a very bad man, like I said.
Very bad man.
You know, and then I was reading why. Well, we'll get to that later.
There's no excuse.
Well, no excuse, but there's he has some reasoning or whatever. I'll get to it. So anyway, in '68, I believe it was, she tried to kill herself. She was so distraught from all the abuse. Like the first time it happened was when she wanted to quit the band, and she said he picked up one of those things to stretch the shoes out that they had back in the '60s, with like a big wooden thing, you know, looked like a foot, and you put it in. So he picked up one of those and whacked her across the head with it.
Oh my God.
And then, you know, it was abuse all the time. You know, he wanted to control her and all of this. She tried to leave one time, and her mother wouldn't accept her, and he got her at the bus station, brought her back. And, you know, and Ike was abusing cocaine at this point, too, so that made it much worse. And now, listen to what he said. In a 1985 interview with Spin magazine, Ike admitted, I hit her, but I didn't hit her any more than the average guy beats his wife. So this is the kind of guy you're dealing with here, that he thinks it's normal.
Well, maybe it was normal for him in his home.
And then if she says I abused her, maybe I did. He worded it slightly different in his memoirs, Taking Back My Name, writing, "Sure, I slapped Tina. There have been times where I punched her to the ground without thinking, but I have never beaten her." So he doesn't consider punching her to the ground to be beating her. So there's no hope for this guy whatsoever. So, but anyway, the last straw came in Dallas, Texas. And we're going to play some music, and we're going to come back and talk about the last straw. So let's play some songs. How about this? Oh, we didn't even get to this part yet. We got to talk about this. That we're going to play Acid Queen from Tina Turner from the Tommy soundtrack. And then we're going to play Honky Tonk Women by Ike and Tina, and we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. Madhouse Magazine Radio Hour 474 The Mix. We are in the middle of our Tina Turner spotlight, and we just played Acid Queen from the Tommy soundtrack and Honky Tonk Women by Ike and Tina. So now, is it Honky Tonk Woman or Honky Tonk Women?
I think it's Honky.
It changes all the time. If you see it some places, it'll say women, other places it'll say woman.
I think it's woman.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
Mick Jagger,
it's
please call in, let us know. So anyway, yes, she went to film the movie Tommy by The Who, and she played the Acid Queen. It was like the highlight of the movie. That was the awesome part. I love
really
that.
was. It was show-stopping.
Yeah. So then, like I said, the last straw came in Dallas, Texas, that they just flew into town. They were doing a big show that night. They were riding in the limo to the hotel, and we don't. Not even sure what transpired, but something happened and they started a fight and he hit her and she just snapped. She couldn't take anymore. So she started punching him and she ended up kicking him in the nads. And
like she fought him.
Yeah, she fought tooth
like,
and
that's
nail.
all you got?
And she was like saying, I may not have hurt him.
Kill you.
I may not have hurt him, but it felt good. It was liberating.
I was
on
my feet.
Yeah, so they stroll into the hotel, both of them covered in blood, and everybody's looking at him like, you need a doctor or something? And he's like, no, I don't need no doctor.
And the thing, can I just interject? When you see the movie, he was beating the crap out of her in front of like a room full of people. In the limo, he was smacking her around. They had an all-out brawl. The limo driver was just driving.
No.
Just driving.
The limo drivers, that's his job.
No.
I don't know. Maybe the thing was up.
Maybe. Oh, listen.
So anyway, so she said that's the last straw. So he went to sleep and she ran out of the hotel.
Yes.
And she just left everything behind. She just had whatever she was wearing. And she ran across a highway and climbed through bushes and everything. And there was like a Ramada Inn across the road. Mm-hmm. And she went in and she said, listen, I'm Tina Turner. I just had a fight with my husband. And if you help me out, all I have is 35 cents in my pocket. And if you help me out and give me a room and assist me, I promise I'll pay you back.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, yes, sure, no problem. And
I wonder if she did.
Yeah, we have to look into that if she ever paid him back.
Yeah, because he's like,
that'd be bad.
I know who you are, Miss Turner.
Yes, and that was basically it. That was the last time she dealt with them, never went back, and that was that. And
well, that's not really true.
Well, kind of. And you can't ever take everything that you see in a movie because we watched a bit of the Tina Turner movie we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, so she filed for divorce and she just didn't want anything. She said, you can have everything. You have publishing rights, the money, the house, the cars.
Jewels,
I just want my name.
Yeah, and he tried to fight her.
Because he trademarked that name. And he was very smart because he figured that if she left in the early days, he would just replace her with another Tina Turner and be Ike and Tina Turner Review.
Gotcha.
And, keep putting girls in there named Tina Turner.
Right.
So I own the name Cha Cha Morgillo, by the way. So don't even try it. I cracked myself up.
You really
So
did.
anyway, divorce became final in 1978, and that was it. She went on her own. And, at first, she didn't have anything. So she had a small apartment with 4 kids because he didn't want the kids. He said, sure, take all the kids. And those were his kids, and she's raising them.
Yeah.
And,
that's great.
She's in a small apartment working as a maid for her friends and things. She was on food stamps, but she said she was so completely happy and satisfied.
Better, of course.
Exactly.
Great.
It's better cleaning a toilet safely than being beaten in a mansion, I always say.
Of course.
So, and then slowly she started, making a comeback, and she started doing a review, like a cabaret show, kind of like Anne Margaret she was influenced by. And she was back in Vegas and doing all this stuff. And then she started getting on shows. She was on the Donnie Marie show. Ooh. She was on the Brady Bunch Variety Hour show.
My.
She was on Sonny and Cher. She was on, and then a big break came on Olivia Newton-John because then someone saw her on there, and she ended up having this new manager, Roger Davies, and he had this great idea to do a showcase for her, and he picked the Ritz Theater in New York City, which was an awesome club. We were there 1,000 times.
Absolutely.
I can't even remember all the shows that I was there, but one that sticks out.
Awesome.
New Year's Eve one year, I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan there. That was a big show.
Okay.
I'm sure we saw Billy Idol there, Ramones definitely. Million shows. I got to start thinking about this.
I can't even, yeah.
So anyway, he did this showcase and everybody came. It was the talk of the town again. And that Rod Stewart, based on that, he hired her to go on tour with him and to come on Saturday Night Live with him and do a duet to Hot Legs.
Oh,
yes. And then the Rolling Stones saw her on Saturday Night Live, and they said, hey, come on tour with us.
Yeah.
So she was back again, and then her big comeback happened in June 1984 when she released the album Private Dancer, where it shot to number 3. And all these songs. What's Love Got to Do with It? Went to number 1. Private Dancer, number 7.
Yeah.
Better Be Good to Me, number 5.
I love that one.
We Don't Need Another Hero, number 2. Typical Male, number 2. The Best, 15. And she was all over the world in the 80s again. And in 1985, she was in the movie Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome with Mel Gibson. Remember that?
Right, yep.
That was the song We Don't Need Another Hero came out of that, right?
Yeah.
And then, that was that. She was happy once again.
Yeah.
And over the years, still touring. I think she's retired now. But she's actually remarried. She married a German music executive named Erwin Bach. And they are living happily in Switzerland now.
Good
She's
for
actually
her.
a Swedish citizen at this point.
Oh.
Because, they were together for many years. They just recently got married and recently moved to Switzerland, and she became a citizen. And that was it.
Good for her.
And it had nothing to do with Trump, by the way. She did it before he was president. So.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's talk about a little bit about Ike now. He was addicted to cocaine and crack for at least 15 years. He was convicted of drug offenses. He ended up serving 17 months in prison between July 89 and 91. He had gun charges against him. He actually shot a guy one time for a dispute over a dog or something. And he had a live grenade at one point. And it's amazing to me he only did that amount of time. If he wasn't Ike Turner, he would have spent 50 years in jail. So, but anyway, he ended up dying in 2007 from a cocaine overdose, and he had emphysema, and he was diagnosed with schizophrenia as well. And
okay.
Yes.
That says a lot.
Yeah, and that he said that he actually watched his father die from a mob beating, that a mob of white people beat his father and shot him, and he became an invalid, and he had to live in a tent in the backyard for 3 years before he died.
Really?
Yeah, and so there was so many stories. Nobody actually knew if that was true or not.
That old excuse.
Right. So when he died, they asked Tina for a comment, and she said, I haven't talked to the guy, had no contact with him for 30 years, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I don't want to bring it up. The past is the past.
Classy lady.
Yes, very good. What would you have said in that situation?
Not that.
You would have had a whole story about it. Well,
my arms still be swinging.
Yeah, take me to his grave. I want to spit on it.
Yep.
So, yep.
I mean, who knows what you would do in that situation? But
yeah. Yep. Not me.
I know I'd kill you.
I'd take the low road anytime I could. So, anyway, like we mentioned that movie, What's Love Got to Do with It? The movie came out, and it was Lawrence Fishburne played Ike, and Angela Davis played... Was it Angela Davis?
No,
what's her name?
Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett. Angela Davis. You know who she was? She was the
Mm-hmm.
Black Panther who ended up killing the cop and then is on the lam in Cuba now. So there's a big difference.
A huge difference.
So anyway,
Angela Bassett was
they did great. They
were great.
They both got Academy Award nominations
for
that.
They were great.
I wonder what won that year because they didn't win. So that was the life and times of Ike and Tina.
Yeah.
So very interesting story, right?
Yeah, it is interesting.
She had an amazing career.
It was.
Yeah. So how old is she now? She's got to be really old. If she was born in 1939, she's like 111, I think.
No, because she's maybe close to 80.
Yeah, she's like almost 80. Yeah. So she hasn't been on tour recently, but we'll see what becomes of it. So anyway, I think we are done here. What time we got there? Chotch. Think you can get to your phone?
Ooh.
Oh, look at that. Perfect timing. We are good. So, all right. So now we're going to wrap this show up. Tina Turner. Oh, let's smell the album and name our favorite Tina Turner song. This looks like a good one. Oh, that's good. And it has pictures and lyrics inside. Oh, nice.
Oh,
Here.
yeah. She
you
was
smell
a
that.
rock star.
I'm gonna
I didn't know you could die from a cocaine overdose.
Of course you can.
You can?
Yeah. When you're 75 years old.
Oh, I guess.
Well, no. Young people do. Your heart blows up. You have a stroke, anything, This is cool. Look at that awesome picture with her with the black cat. So I'm going to have to say, now all of her...
my hair like that.
Let's say all her songs all throughout the years, I'm going to have to go with Acid Queen from Tommy as my favorite. Cha-Cha, what would you like to say? Ike and Tina?
Cover.
Proud Mary?
Yeah.
There you go, of course.
That's
Can't go wrong with that.
But
no, excellent choice.
Okay,
you don't have to discuss
good.
that.
I didn't know if, there were, rules.
I just told you, any song by her through the years. So, all right, so now we're going to wrap this show up. Madhouse Magazine, 474 The Mix. Let's go out with What's Love Got to Do with It by Tina Turner and then River Deep Mountain High. See you next time, because then we're going to play the Artist of the Month as well. So we'll see you next time. Let's hear it for us.